हाय इन दिस वीडियो मैं अपना MDI गुड़गांव का इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करूंगा। बहुत लोगों को पता नहीं होगा बट आई आल्सो कन्वर्टेड MDI गुड़गांव PGP IB program and I was waitlisted 210 for the main PGP program. It was a direct convert for sure, but I for some reasons I chose IIM Udaipur over MDI Gurgaon. Um, so yeah, that's about it. And regarding my interview experience, हमारा इंटरव्यू लेने के लिए दो मेल थे पैनल में। वन वाज HR प्रोफेसर एंड वन वाज मार्केटिंग प्रोफेसर, और दे वर जेन्यूनली टेकिंग स्ट्रेस इंटरव्यू। हमारा नहीं, जो भी था हमारे ब्रांच में, दादर में कोई कॉलेज थी वहां पे, एवरीबडी हैड वेरी बैड एक्सपीरियंस विद इंटरव्यू। लुक, नॉट बैड इन द वे ऑफ कंडक्ट करने में, बट इट वाज अ स्ट्रेस इंटरव्यू फॉर ऑल ऑफ अस। इनफैक्ट इन माय पैनल एक लड़की रोते हुए बाहर आई थी। आउट ऑफ 10 पीपल, 2 पीपल वर एब्सेंट, सो 8 पीपल में से वन गर्ल केम आउट क्राइंग and I was the last one to be interviewed. My number was 8. So yeah. Um, so about my MDI interview, I'll share the कैसे process हुआ था. Initially, it was stress interview for sure. After GD हुई, and then I was the last one to get into the interview room. So जब मैं घुस रहा था, enter हो रहा था, then one of the professors while I was entering, he said, GD में तो बहुत बोल रहा था, देखते हैं PI में कितना बोल रहा है. He said this in Hindi. So he was pretty much trying to get on my nose, but I was like, haha, nothing like that, sir. I'm very excited for this interview. Then I asked the permission to sit, and he said, I said, "बैठ जा, चल, it's okay." He was like talking in Hindi. So when I sat down, our topic for GD was something spirituality's buzzword in stock market, in capital stock market. Yeah. So I was speaking a lot because I am an active investor. I follow stock market. So when I sat down on the chair, फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन एक HR ने ही बोला, HR के प्रोफेसर जो थे वहां पे, ही सेड, अच्छा स्टॉक मार्केट का आज का क्या सीन है? First question direct, and I was there for 5 hours, but I was obviously following मोबाइल में टाइम पास करते हुए. तो सेंसेक्स had fallen down 660 points that day. So I told him that Sensex was down 660 points. So he was pretty impressed. Yeah, okay, I gave it the answer on the toes. Then when I answered this, उसने अपने फोन चेक किया सर ने, and he saw there, my answer was pretty correct. It was down 600 650 points only. Then interview proceeded. The second professor, who was pretty strict, marketing professor, was pretty strict with all of us. He said that, tell me about yourself. And then I was answering, and in between he stopped me. Okay, this is very generic answer. Tell me something that is not mentioned in your CV. Um, then I said that, इसमें my answer was, I was very passionate about marketing, but last May I decided to go for finance, and I think that was best decision of my life. This was my answer. But he says, ये CV में ये सब क्या boring boring बातें बोलते हो? Tell me something interesting. And I just said, sir, this is it. And he was like, चल चल ठीक है. And the professor was speaking in Hindi. He was trying to get on the nose. Okay, but that was cool. Second question, why MBA? So while answering, why MBA, that I want to get into, get a holistic experience of every management field, marketing, sales, finance, सबका मुझे चाहिए. And I, as a work experience guy, I realized the importance of MBA in career growth. So this was very generic answer, and he also said, yeah, okay, cool. Next one. So this was pretty tricky question. Not tricky question, but this is a question that not a lot of people would expect. Um, and it is pretty basic. When you talk about MDI, they were trying to see कि मैंने कॉलेज के बारे में और कोर्सेज के बारे में कितना रिसर्च किया है. So he said, tell us the courses MDI offers and what is your preference. So इसमें MDI basically offers 3 courses. First is PGP, which is general flagship program. Second is PGP HR, जो 2 साल HR का होता है, Excel RM में जैसा होता है वैसा ही. And third is a pretty new program, PGP IB. IB is international business, and international business में 1 year you stay in Europe. ESCP में you get MIM degree. And then I think in second year you come back to MDI, and yeah, that's about it. So I explained it clearly to him, and it was a good answer. I explained him very well, and I even told him that we get MIM degree from ESCP. We basically get 2 degrees, and first year we are in Europe, second year we are in Gurgaon, and yeah, so it was pretty clear answer. He was okay. And then regarding my preference, I said that I have not applied for PGPHR because I'm much more towards other fields of management. My first preference is obviously PGP and followed by PGPIB. PGPIB, I mentioned that he said Q PGPIB, you only said that it is such a great program. Why you are not putting it on first preference? And I said that I'm not looking to put on 40-50 lakhs for fees. I think I want to focus financially, saving financials. And it was pretty genuine answer. I personally never wanted to spend 50 lakhs on MBA just because I get to roam in Europe. So yeah, it's a good thing, but it's not dissing it out. But given the preference, I'll prefer to stay in MDI Gurgaon only, and that is also a flagship program. So yeah, and then he was asking this one question to everybody in our panel, and nobody was genuinely able to give correct answer. And the question is, how many zeros are there in $1 billion when it is converted to rupees? I'm repeating it again. How many zeros are there in $1 billion? $1 billion B when it is converted to rupees. So it was very easy for me because मेरे finance में क्या है, we only talk in millions and billions dollars में, and I follow Forbes and who is the richest person, 100 billion, 200 billion. So I know that $1 billion is 8,500 crore rupees. And I mentioned my assumption that assuming that $1 is 85 rupees, then if you convert it, 85,000, 8,500 crores, 8,500 crores rupees is $1 billion, and 8,500 में two zeros and 1 crores में eight zeros. So 2 plus 8, it is 10 zeros in 8,500 crores, and it was correct answer. And then HR, the panel, HR professor in the panel, he smiled and said, "Oh, you're the first person to answer it correctly and confidently." So, yeah, this was it. And it was always, they were trying to pull my leg. The other professor, marketing guy, he was pretty strict on all of us, not me. And he was talking in Hindi. So he said that you are in finance and you must always be talking in millions. So this must be an easy answer for you. And in flow, I said yes, it is pretty easy because I follow. Then I don't know what happened to him. I think ego touch ho gaya. Yeah, maybe he sensed some overconfidence. I was not overconfident, but I was a little bit okay. Yeah, I know this. Then he suddenly started saying that फाइनेंस में स्टॉक मार्केट तो सब देखते हैं, गोल्ड के बारे में बता. So gold के बारे में, he said that at that time I think gold prices were around 78,000 rupees for 10 grams. I said that 78,000 rupees है for 10 grams, and last 8 months में 30% short up हुआ है, and last 5 years में pre-COVID it was 40,000 45,000 rupees, but now suddenly इतने 3 साल 4 साल में इतना बढ़ गया. I said it in English obviously, because there was a $7 trillion. I gave some number, I read it before my interview. डॉलर्स का कैश इनफ्लो इन यूएस मार्केट एंड इन्फ्लेशन के अगेंस्ट गोल्ड इज द परफेक्ट हेज. So gold went up very, very drastically. And that professor was like, "Arey, you know this." Because one thing you have to make sure that interviewer always asks you question जो तुम्हें अच्छे से आता हो. I follow gold, I follow stock market, so I always prefer that I get asked questions around that particular topic. And then Sensex ke bare mein, that first professor directly asked me, and then he asked me, now he was trying to get off finance topic because I was answering all of the questions correctly. He said, you did chemical engineering, then why finance? I said, in chemical engineering, you get um, um, knowledge of, a process knowledge, how to follow a procedure. In engineering, there's quantitative element. Also, when I was in my college, I tried to explore myself by doing various internship. One internship was strategy and finance internship, which I did for 4 months, and I was also in Fest. I was managing finances, so I was little bit inclined towards finance, and chemical engineering say that I decided to take a leap of faith, and I'm very happy that I did it. So yeah, and that professor was like, ये तो बहुत फेकू आंसर है. How can you decide your career about finance by just doing one internship and just I said it was a leap of faith, and I genuinely believe it was good. But he was trying to pull my leg because honestly एक यही आंसर होगा, कोई और आंसर होगा नहीं इसको छोड़ के. And then we talked on various topics like, where are you from? I said Mumbai, and tell me about Mumbai. Gateway of India कब से है? So I said 1924. I'm not sure about the year, and you can check the year that I don't remember if it is correct or not. I said 1924, but I am not sure. Then things went on, and yeah, it got ended this way. I was the last one, so they wrapped it up quickly, and this was my experience basically. काफी strict था. Maybe when I am saying it is not looking that, but body language point of view से professors were pretty strict. Even one girl came out of interview room crying, and she was like panic हो गई थी पूरी करके. But yeah, that's about it. You don't have to panic yourself, and believe in yourself. Be cool. Maybe जो मेरा प्रोफाइल है, आई शुड नॉट हैव कन्वर्टेड एमडीआई गुड़गांव. 200 वेटलिस्ट आ ही नहीं सकता. My 10th is 89, that is decent. My GPA is 7.6, which you converted to percentage, it is 68, and my 12th is 69. So I should not convert MDI Gurgaon PGP, but here I got 210 waitlist, which is pretty good. So yeah, that's about it. You can ask me anything else if you want to know in the comment below. And yeah, thank you for watching it. Make sure you like and subscribe, and do let me know if you have anything else. If you want me to make video on any other topic. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you. All the best.